Hi, and welcome to another Papetti Math YouTube video where I will be teaching you Algebra 1. So we're going to be looking at exercise number 2, found in lesson number 5 on the quadratic formula in chapter 10 of your workbook. And if you don't have a workbook and you're just watching this video for the tutorial, that's fine as well. So let's look at exercise number 2. For each of the following quadratics, determine the exact zeros. So you're going to see that word exact, and that's going to be your first hint that this is probably not going to be a nice rational solution. Express your solution in simplest radical form. Bingo, that's another keyword that says that you're not going to have a rational number as a solution. You could, but if it says simplest radical form, you're definitely probably going to, that doesn't make much sense. But anyway, you're definitely, or probably, whichever one, going to have a solution that's irrational, that you need to simplify the radical for. So this video is just going to be part A right here, and we're going to see how this one is going to be a little bit different than the previous 4 exercises that we've done in exercise number 1. Okay, so let's take a look at part A, and it says 9x squared plus 4x minus 16 equals 0. And that's nice that this already equals 0, because now we could jump right into solving, and we could list out our A value, our B value, and our C value. So the A value is going to be 9, our B value is going to be 4, and our C value will be negative 16. Now that we know those values, we need our quadratic formula, which is always going to be x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. Okay, now time to substitute into that formula to see where our roots are going to take us. So we have negative, well, b is 4, so negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared minus 4 times a, which is 9, times c, which is negative 16, all divided by 2 times a, which again is 9. So now that we have our whole a, b, and c values substituted in, we want to simplify this the best we can. So we'll just bring down that negative 4, plus or minus, well, 4 squared is going to be 16, okay? So 4 times 9 times 16 will give me 576. Oh, negative 16, so it will be plus or minus 16 minus negative 576 all over 18. Now again, we could simplify that one more time because 16 minus negative 576 is really 16 plus 576. So we're going to get negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 592 over 18. Now again, these are the two solutions. Negative 4 plus the square root of 592 divided by 18. Negative 4 minus the square root of 592 divided by 18. But we can't leave it in this form because it says up here that we need our answer in simplest radical form. So we're going to have to simplify that radical. So that goes back to lesson number 3 where we were solving and simplifying square roots. So I'm going to draw my factor tree over off on the right over here. And I'm going to have the square root of 592. I need 2 numbers that multiply to 592. Well, I see that it's even, so I'm going to take advantage of that and use 2. So 2 times 296 will give me 592. So I'll circle the 2 because it's prime. And over here, I need to simplify a little further. So again, 2 goes into this. And how many times does 2 go into 296? 148 times. And 2 goes into that. And how many times does 2 go into 148? And that's going to be 74. And finally, I think this might be the last one. When we divide by 2 once again, because 74 is an even number, we can divide that by 2 and we'll get, yes, the square root of 37. 37 is prime, so I'll circle that. Okay, running out of room, but we're going to make it work right here. We want to now simplify our radical. So our radical, when we simplify it, we're going to have negative 4. I'm just bringing this work over right here, plus or minus, and then we have to draw that radical, remember. And whatever we have a pair of, we're going to cross off two of them, and we're going to write a single number on the outside. So for example, I have a pair of 2's, I'll cross off two 2's, and I'll write a 2 on the outside. Then I have another pair of 2's, so I'll cross off two more 2's, and write another 2 on the outside, connect them by multiplication. I don't have a pair of 37's, so I have a single 37 that's going to stay inside the radical. Now again, that 2 times 2 in the front, I'm just going to erase that real quick, and I'm going to change that to a 4, because 2 times 2 will give me 4. And this is all over 18. So now I have my simplest radical form right there, saying that the square root of 592 is the same thing as 4 radical 37, which it is. The last thing I can do with this is I could look at the 4, the negative 4, and the 18 and see if all of those numbers are divisible by a number, if they have a greatest common factor. And do they? They do. They're all divisible by 2. Yes. So if we divide the negative 4, the 4, and the 18 all by 2, that will be our simplest form that we could ever get. Remember, we don't want to divide anything with this radical because radicals only interact with radicals. You can't add numbers to a radical unless they're in a radical. You can't multiply numbers by a radical unless they're in a radical, okay? So we just keep them all separate, and we're going to have negative 2 because I'm dividing everything by 2 here, plus or minus 2 radical 37 over 9. And this right here, if you can read that, is our final answer. Negative 2 plus or minus 2 radical 37 over 9. Nothing else could be simplified further. All right. This was quite a complex problem. We're going to be doing 3 more of these, but right now, if you need to go back in the video to watch any specific parts, do that. Otherwise, click the link on the video to take you to part B of exercise number 2.